Hello, welcome to the Sports Guru podcast. I'm Jack Ragone. Today we are taking a break from sports. We have two very special guests, Mr. Ray Anderson, Washington Township High School Executive Principal, and Dr. Greg Muscelli, 9th grade Assistant Principal. Hello, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Hello, sir. Thank you so much,
Jack,
for
we're
having us.
We're excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. What high school did you graduate from?
Believe it or not, I am a graduate of the #1 high school in the country, Washington Township High School.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yes, I am.
And I'm a graduate of the #2 high school in the country. Do you know Cherry Hill?
Yes, I do.
So I went to Cherry Hill West. That's the better side. All right, there's Cherry Hill West and East, and I went to Cherry Hill West in the year 2000 I graduated.
What was your first job?
Did you want to start with that, or?
My first job. Okay.
I'm interested to hear this.
Yeah, me too.
I've had a lot of jobs in my life because I love to work. And I like to make money, too. It's a good thing, right? So I started off when I was maybe 8th or 9th grade. And some people listening to this may actually know this man. I worked for Bob the Record Man Krantweiss.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He is a retired social studies teacher at the middle school level, Orchard Valley, Bunker Hill. And he would sell records and cassettes. I'm aging myself, the cassette, right?
Yes.
And CDs at local malls. So we would go to like the Shore Mall, the Hamilton Mall, Deptford Mall, Echelon, back when it was really good. And we would sell these records, and I really enjoyed it. So that was my first paying job that I was able to do, and it was a lot of fun. And I like music, so it was kind of neat too.
Yeah, I like music too.
What kind of music do you like?
Like rock music.
You like rock? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and you're asking the questions. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
I like rock too.
Nowadays, it's all you can if it's on Spotify and Apple Music too. So it's amazing how much it's advanced nowadays.
Jack, I just started using Apple Music and
Really?
downloading my songs and stuff. I'm not too up on that stuff, but I'm enjoying it very much. I see that face over there from the audience.
Do you remember back in the day, if you liked a song, let's say in the early 90s,
Yeah.
you would have to wait. You would have a blank tape set up, and you would wait on Eagle 106 or Q102. And when your favorite song came on, you would hit record, and that's how you got it instead of looking it up on Apple Music, or if your parents couldn't take you to the music store, like Sam Goody.
Sam,
Right?
good, you got it.
Yeah.
Radio Shack.
Yep.
Hey, man.
What was your major in college?
Well, I had 3. I have 3 bachelor degrees, actually. I have a BA in German, Deutsch. I have a BA in French, Français, and I have a BS in management.
What college did you attend?
St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia. Love it. Beautiful campus.
What made you want to pursue this career?
My pathway is actually very different. I intended to go to school to be in international business and to work for a German company and travel. But I always enjoyed teaching and being with students and in education. So while I was in college, I taught at a Saturday school, German at a Saturday school in Philadelphia in the Northeast. Every Saturday morning, I would teach from 9:30 to 12 noon. It's a long period of time. And I fell in love with teaching and working with students. So at that point in time, I got all the paperwork I needed to do in order to be a teacher. And although I had taken a first job elsewhere, a job at Washington Township High School had opened up teaching German and French, which was my dream. So I was supposed to work at Liberty Mutual Insurance in Philadelphia. You probably, Liberty, right?
Commercials.
I could have been there with them. Glad I'm not. I'd rather be with you. But I actually resigned. I went into work on my very first day, and I handed them my resignation letter because I applied here to be the German and French teacher, and the rest is history.
And didn't you become principal of that German school?
I did. Good memory, Dr. Muscelli. I did. That was my first principal gig, as a matter of fact. Good memory.
Yeah.
What about you, Dr. Muscelli?
So my first job was at CVS. You know
Oh, wow.
CVS, right?
Yeah.
So I worked there for about 6 months. I got paid $5.15 an hour, and then Pizza Hut offered 10 more cents, $5.25 an hour. So I left over 10 cents for the hour. And that, honestly, I joke with my wife that when I retire from education, I want to go back and work at Pizza Hut. It was my favorite job. So I did everything from wait on tables to work up front to cook to doing dishes. I loved doing dishes from 4:30 on a Friday till 11:30 at night. That's the only thing I would do. It was perfect. And I also became a shift manager there during my senior year. And I worked there a little bit throughout my college years, too.
How has the transition been from like? Because I know you didn't start here. Obviously, you had to work your way up. So how's the transition been from?
Yes. So I taught here for 12 years. I taught in like L205, L201, and down. You know where Mr. Applite and Miss Valeria's room is?
Yes. Yes.
So I was there. So then, right, I met you over at Bunker Hill. You became an assistant principal over at Bunker Hill for 6 years. And then I came over here to the high school. I could tell you I dearly miss the staff and students over at Bunker Hill. Some became my very good friends. And I love working with high school kids. It's, I have 2 homes here. I have 3 homes here in Washington Township, right? My actual home here at the high school and Bunker Hill. And from the moment I first had an interview here with Mrs. Farrow, do you remember her?
Yes.
And then Miss Moore, the second interview I had with them, I felt at home. And felt at home ever since. And when an opportunity came up at the high school, I wanted to come home, right? So it's been great. And the only difference here, that's been tough for me is learning all the new staff members' names. And some of the kids, but other than that, I feel right at home. And doesn't feel like much of a transition, if that makes sense.
It's a lot of names to remember.
Absolutely.
What about you, Mr. Anderson? How's it?
Well, my career's been kind of interesting in education, too. I started here teaching German and French, and I did so for about 9 years, and decided to pursue the career of being a supervisor of world languages in ESL, that's my heart. I love everything that has to do with languages. I love our multi-language learners and working with our students who are learning English. It became a passion of mine, so I did that for a little bit. And then I said, you know what? I want to be a principal now. It's time for me to do this. So I applied to be the principal of Whitman Elementary School, which I spent 9 years at Whitman Elementary as well, and absolutely love Whitman. I love the staff. I love the students, the families. It truly is a beautiful place. And I joke all the time, it's the #1 school in the district, and I still think it's phenomenal. The high school is going to be the #1 school in the district at some point. So I've been here for about 1.5 years now, and I love every minute of it. I love speaking to the students, working with the staff, and the families. We have a very supportive community here in Washington Township, and they support our schools, and they want to see us continue on the path to greatness again and get it rocking and rolling. So that's what we're doing. And luckily I have people like Dr. Muscelli. Dr. Muscelli and I have worked together for over 20 years now. We go back a long time. And having him as part of this team here at the high school, our administrative team, I'm proud to know him, and I'm proud to have him standing beside all of us, our whole team working together. It's a great group.
Thank you.
I didn't know that. It's good because you have connections with people, and you establish connections and friendships
100%.
and stuff like that.
It's important, and relationships are everything. We talk about that. I don't see a lot of kids for disciplinary reasons. That's not really my job. I work with students to build community. I try to attend performances and football games and sports and really be part of the students. My favorite thing, and I'm sure you've seen me, I love working in the cafeteria and serving lunch because it gives me an opportunity to talk with students I might not normally encounter. And I want them to know their principal. I don't want to just be the voice on the loudspeaker in the morning. I want to be the guy where they say, yeah, that's Mr. Anderson. He loves us. He loves our school. And, that's important to me. And I know that Dr. Muscelli and the rest of our team, Mr. Savarese, Mr. Say, and Mrs. Costello, and Mr. Basante, Mr. Murphy, we all feel the same way. We want our students to have the very best. And we give respect and we expect respect.
Mm-hmm. You got to give respect to get respect. That's my motto.
It's a good motto. It's a good motto.
What is a day, and this is for both of you, what is a day in the life like of a high school principal?
You want to start with me?
Sure.
Okay, so it's very busy. And being in charge of the entire high school. Do you know the high school is a 1/4 mile long from end to end?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, did you know that? I don't know if the audience here as well was aware of that. So if you were to begin at the end of K-Pod and walk all the way over here to Little B Hall,
Yes.
the auditorium, it's like a 1/4 mile. But anyway, A day in the life. A lot of, I'm trying to think of the best way to qualify it or to describe it. It's very, there's a lot of moving pieces. I don't always know what to expect each day. Things pop up. I work with people. I work with the teachers. I work with students, community members. But managing a complex of this magnitude. This is the largest high school in Gloucester County. It's very big. We have 2,100 students, and we have probably over 400 employees, team members that work alongside of us. Just keeping everything going. I have a lot of meetings on many topics, ranging from curriculum to working with students, working with employees that are here. But a lot of my time is spent, I like to be out in the hallways talking to the students. But what happens is when I do that during the day, then I'm stuck here at night, catching up on, the reporting that I need to do for the school, for, working with curriculum, the state. A lot of things go on, and a big part is returning emails. I get so many emails a day, and I get lost in them sometimes, and I try to get back to people as quickly as I can, but sometimes I do miss one or two, and always a gentle reminder is a good thing. But just working and just keeping everything flowing, and I think the most important thing to me is just keeping a positive vibe.
Yes.
I want students to love school. I want the staff and the administrators to love coming here as well, to work as a team to, really make WTHS what it is. So I take it very seriously, and with my heart, I internalize things, and, when things happen and take place, I want kids to leave here saying, the teachers cared, the principals cared, Mr. Anderson, he does love us. He might yell at us sometimes or correct us, and that's okay. Dr. Muscelli said the same thing, but deep down, I do care, and I want people to know that. We're trying to make everybody, we're trying to make all of ourselves better.
You want it to feel like this is a safe space. Also, I know that's a big thing as well.
100%. Safety and security is huge, and we take that very seriously. From everyday common things to practicing our drills and making sure people know where to go and accountability. There's a lot that goes into this, and we're proud. We have we have 3 great SROs. I'm sure whom
Yes.
Officer Ramos, Officer Marici, and Officer John Hamilton, along with our security department. We have a great group, Mr. Grutzmacher, Mr. McCrane, Mr. Fulgenetti during the day, Officer Dubarry at night, and a whole host of others that work behind the scenes. And people might not always know, what goes on in a school, but there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that really, work in tandem to make our school what it is.
Yes.
And I know we're not talking about sports today, right? But this is the Sports Guru podcast.
Yeah.
So, as a coach, right, you have your game plan. And one thing could happen just like that where you have to throw your whole game plan out the window. And I think every day, Mr. Anderson and I might have a basic plan, but as soon as you wake up, that plan changes. So my plan today, I had to get several things done in the morning before lunches. I was supposed to get them done before 8 o'clock, and I didn't get them done until 10:30 because other things came up that were a little bit more important. And not that I like the fact that important things comes up, but I like managing that in my mind and doing that in a split second, right? You have to, because you might have, let's say, a meeting with Mr. Anderson, but a crisis comes up or an emergency, and that quick decision-making. I also think it's, as administrators, Mr. Anderson and I, and all of our other administrators, unfortunately, sometimes we have to deal with negativity all day. And no matter what negative I deal with, I always try to look at the positive of it, right? As Mr. Anderson said, that's important. You have to, because I think all of our kids here, and I'm sure you have too, I haven't heard of any of them, but we're going to make mistakes, right? We're human beings, and our goal as administrators is we're teachers, right? Our goal isn't to discipline kids. Our goal is to help kids and to teach them. So I think throughout my day, I always try to manage and move pieces of where they need to go, but I always try to put a positive spin on things because it can be tough.
Yeah, and you can never, things could change in, the blink of an eye. You can never come in to work one day with, a set plan because you can never know, what can change,
I think that's the worst thing you could do because you have to be able to prioritize. If a kid needs help or if a teacher does, you have to say, hey, this is the safety part of it's most important, or a health part might be more important than what you have planned.
another thing, Jack, and to kind of bounce off what Dr. Muscelli is saying, it's a very stressful job.
Yes.
We hide it well. You know, we never want anyone to see us, you know, being stressed or under pressure, but a lot of things do take place that are pressureful. And the one thing that I can always say to people is I don't ever personalize anything. You know, I really don't. You know, if a student misbehaves or something, I'm not personalizing that. We want to make it better. We want students to learn. Things happen. And if we personalized everything that took place, we would be out of our heads. Like, it just wouldn't be. So sometimes, and people don't like it when I use this term, it's business.
Yes.
You know, and being and following procedures and making sure that people have what they need and we treat it in that manner. You know, it helps to alleviate a little bit of the stress. And I always say, we joke all the time, I sleep like a baby at night. Because when you do the right thing and you work hard, and Dr. Muscelli and I, we've had this conversation before. When you do right, you can go to bed at night and really have a clear mind and be able to sleep. And it's very important. We don't get enough sleep. Our jobs are constant. I mean, the emails, the events, and the activities. But guess what? We love every minute of it.
Mm-hmm. And that's oftentimes, right, we, as leaders in the building, as some of the leaders in the building, we talk about decision-making. And there's a few people in my life, it could be, you know, my grandmother, right, and my kids, who I'm like, are my kids going to be happy that I did this? Mm-hmm. You know, or is my grandmother, and she's not here, would she be happy that I did this? And sometimes when it comes down to decisions we make, I kind of use them as a balance, you know, to see if I made the right decision. And once I make it, you don't regret it. You got to move forward, know you made the right decision, and maybe take some feedback on it too.
Mm-hmm. To see if how that decision affected other people around you.
Yep, and I don't make, no one's going to make the best decisions, right? But the ultimate judge for my decisions are, you know, the people who helped me become the person I am, like using them as a balance. And also, if I feel it here, man, I know I made the right decision. You got to feel it here in your heart.
Yes.
Right?
And, this is kind of off topic, but in college, did you guys play any sports or participate in any activities?
Definitely. I play tennis. That's my sport. I still play it to this day. I didn't play it in college, you know, on a team or anything. I wasn't that good back then. But as I've gotten older, I've continued to play it, and I've been able to compete in United States Tennis Association, the USTA, tournaments and teams around here. And back in 2021, my mixed doubles team, mixed doubles is when you partner up, a man and a woman playing together against another man and a woman. We went to nationals in Surprise, Arizona, and we got 5th place in the country in 40 and above tennis. So, you know, although I didn't play in college, it's something I have always enjoyed doing, and now, you know, getting to play, you know, and keeping up with it is a lot of fun.
What about you, Dr. Muscelli?
So, and Mr. Anderson is signing autographs after this podcast, by the way. So, I played soccer my whole life, as well as, you know, every other sport out there.
I didn't know you played soccer, Dr. Muscelli.
Yes, I didn't play in college, though.
Okay.
But I played my whole life, played lacrosse, ice hockey, everything, right? So when I got to college, unfortunately, I had to also work a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think there's students who could do great in school, they could do great at their job, and then they could also do great in a sport. Me, I wouldn't have been able to function the way I wanted to if I participated in team sport. So I did stay active in soccer, usually playing when I could on Sundays. You know, unfortunately, I wasn't able to play it. I don't regret anything in my life, but I kind of wish I played in college. Who knows if I would have been good enough, right?
Yeah.
But I just wasn't able to at the time. But still keep active. I work with my kids all the time, but especially mountain biking is one of my loves. So I always try to get out at least once a week. And I feel like a little kid on the bike. I feel like 7 years old whenever I get on. So that's something that's very important to me and something I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. You know, this is a sports podcast after all, so I couldn't leave out like
Absolutely.
the sports teams. So I wanted to ask you about like the Philly sports teams and like what do you think of them? Like, the Eagles, Phillies.
Very excited for I'm looking at Dr. Muscelli in his Phillies gear, but you know, always geared up, always enjoy, you know, the Eagles. I like the Flyers too. Not a big basketball fan. That's just me. But definitely excited for the upcoming Philly season and some of the changes that are happening with the Eagles. There's been a lot of chatter this week with some changes and retirements and moves and things of that nature. So we're hopefully gearing up for a good season. Let's get back to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
everybody in this room, there's a big crowd in here, and they're definitely with us and wanting to see those Eagles get back to it. So
Yeah, Kelsey retired. That's crazy, right?
crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about, I think, when the Eagles signed Saquon Barkley, right? Some of my friends were talking. I think Jason Kelsey put out a comment like, "This is what I'm going to miss," and some of my friends were saying like, "Oh, I hope he comes back. I hope he does." And part of me, I hope he doesn't, just because he's such a nice guy, like such a family man, and one injury could ruin it all. And sometimes, I think sports are very important. They're an important part of our culture. I think we need it. But sometimes people make that more important than family, right? And when family's everything. And I just wouldn't want to see the guy come back for a year and get hurt. But I'm also, like, very excited for them. I'm excited for Embiid to get back. I think, some of my Sixers fandom, it's been hard to follow them without Embiid in the court.
Yeah.
Right? But, the Phillies, the only thing I'm worried about them is they play with so much energy all the time. Like, I just think it's such a difficult sport to continue to bring that all year long.
162 games, right?
Right?
It's a long season.
Through October. I just think that's so hard. But I think guys like Bryce Harper with, his leadership, I think they could definitely do it.
Thanks for being here today. I really appreciate your time.
We had a blast. I mean, number one, hanging out with you and getting to spend a little time with you was a lot of fun. But also, getting to hear a little bit more, Dr. Muscelli and I, we work together a lot, but having this opportunity to sit down and concentrate and, be able to really have a conversation with you, we really appreciate you thinking of us. And, we're proud to have you as a student. And, we're going to continue to rock and roll here at WTHS. That I can tell you.
We should do this again sometime.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm in.
We're down.
And hopefully we do it when the Sixers are making a run or the Eagles after the Eagles win the Super Bowl, right?
It's coming.
All right. Mrs. Kuhlin said she is going to have a pizza party for us if one of the 4 Philly teams win.
I'm going to hold you to that.
All right.
Miss Patty. That'll be all on this edition of the Sports Guru Podcast. I'm Jack Regan. See you next time.